Hello there, people of the internet. Welcome back to another video. Today I thought we could watch some more Lazy Masquerade videos. We watched the Celine Delgado video that was by Lazy Masquerade, and it was very, very well done, very well put together, very informative and very entertaining. And I thought we would watch another one of their videos, this one being the disturbing stories behind these images. Now the video does start off with a plush announcement on YouTube's. Obviously, I always link the creator down below, so be sure to go check this out if you're a fan. I mean, it does look pretty freaking cool, to be fair. The resemblance is just uncanny. But yeah, we're gonna move straight ahead to the actual video. Yeah, if you guys do enjoy, be sure to go subscribe to Lazy Masquerade, like the video, all that good stuff. And if you enjoy my reaction, you can like and subscribe to me as well. Let's just jump into this.
On December 17th, 1968, 20-year-old Barbara Mackle was staying with her mother at the Roadway Inn in Decatur, Georgia. The young woman was sick with Hong Kong flu, and her mum had come to pick her up from university and drive her back to their home in Florida for the Christmas break. That night, as Barbara and her mother were relaxing in their motel room, they received an unexpected knock at the door.
Okay.
Standing outside were two male police officers. They flashed their badges at the women and then told Barbara that her fiancé, Stuart, had been involved in a terrible traffic accident.
Oh God.
With a million questions racing through her mind, not least how the officers knew where to find her, Barbara quickly ushered them both into their motel room and closed the door. One can only imagine how she felt in that moment, terrified about the well-being of her fiancé. And one can only imagine how she felt when one of the officers rushed towards her mother with a chloroform drag.
Oh my
and smothered
God.
her unconscious with it. In that same instant, the other officer drew a pistol and told Barbara not to move.
It's easy to have like badges, but what would really? How could you really tell if a policeman's a policeman? I don't know, an actual like identity badge and a number on the shoulder, but then again, they're easy to fake. So, yeah.
Her mother was bound and gagged in the room, and Barbara herself was led out by the two strangers and forced into a vehicle.
Oh my God.
Once inside their car, Barbara's two captors removed their fake police uniforms. The man holding the firearm calmly told Barbara not to scream or try to escape. And the other man wasn't a man at all, but rather a woman who had disguised herself as one. They forced her out of the vehicle and towards a pre-dug trench.
Oh my God.
Inside that hole in the ground was a fiberglass box. That box was to be Barbara's coffin.
What? Why?
Still at gunpoint, Barbara's two captors made her get inside the box and
She heard the screws tightening the lid, then the shovel and the earth thudding over her head, the stomping, packing, and finally the terrible stillness. For maybe 2.5 hours she had a light, then it went out, it was cold and it leaked, it kept dripping from above.
the ground.
So she survived, obviously.
Then one of them took this chilling photo of her before burying her alive. The perp's plan was simple. Barbara's father was an extremely successful land developer.
Oh my God.
After burying Barbara and leaving her still breathing in her makeshift tomb, they sent this photo to her home address in Florida.
Why is she smiling
along
like
with
that?
a ransom note.
She looks... Oh, don't tell me she's already dead.
They demanded $500,000 in cash from her father, approximately $3.4 million in today's money. Barbara would remain buried until that ransom was paid.
Jeez.
Her father would have to cough up quick though, they added, since his daughter's air supply wouldn't last forever.
Wow.
Of course, Barbara's father, Robert, agreed to their demands. He met with the two perps in secret to deliver them the cash, but the drop-off was disrupted by two passing policemen. Both the male and...
Sometimes, sometimes the police in these circumstances often make the situation worse. I know they're there to try and, they want to capture the suspects, but most of the time, like I've heard multiple of these stories before. I used to listen to like these podcasts whilst I was working, and it was like the police would like tail the victim to try and find these suspects who are demanding the ransom, and then these people would know that they're being tailed and call it off, and then they'd end up killing the victim. And it's like, I know you're trying to do your job, but maybe, you know, let the drop off happen, right? And then do some investigate. I don't know. I guess you can't. It's a wow, win lose. I don't know what it is.
It was at that point that Robert got the FBI involved. They were able to locate the perp's abandoned vehicle close to the drop-off.
The Pope's abandoned vehicle.
The vehicle was registered.
I know. Yeah, these captions.
To a man named George Deacon. Sadly, time wasn't on Robert's side, so before the FBI could follow up on that lead, he organised a second rendezvous with the perps.
Yes, with the perps.
The cash drop-off was successful.
Okay,
and he
good.
gave Barbara's captors exactly what they asked for. After giving them the cool $500,000, he didn't hear back from them. They had gotten their money, but clearly had no intentions of releasing their victim.
Oh my god.
Barbara was just another witness at that point, and the less of those around, the better. Robert and the authorities,
I guess that's why sometimes the cops will...
were now in a race against time. They had to somehow find Barbara before her supply of oxygen ran out. But how, when she could literally be buried anywhere?
Yeah.
Well, the FBI were able to trace a George Deacon to the University of Miami. And this George Deacon just so happened to build ventilated boxes for a living.
Okay. That's very specific.
Went to pay him a visit, but Deacon was nowhere to be found. So they searched the small trailer in which he lived. Inside, they found numerous letters addressed to a man named Gary Christ, a convict who had escaped California prison 2 years prior.
Okay.
After comparing fingerprints found in the trailer to those found inside the abandoned car, detectives quickly realized that Deacon and Christ were one and the same.
Ah.
Gary Christ had simply changed his identity after escaping jail.
Wow, that easy,
On December
huh?
20th, detectives were able to track Gary Christ down.
Did they like, because when you go to change your name like that, surely you need to give them your original name, or did he must have done that illegally, right? Because they're not going to be like, what was your name? Oh, it says here that you're an escaped convict. So what would you like your new name to be?
They found him hiding out in a swamp in Florida.
Okay.
That same night, he gave investigators vague directions to where Barbara was buried.
Oh, God.
More than 100 agents scoured a huge area in rural Georgia in an attempt to find the missing woman, many of them digging up the earth with their bare hands.
Jeez.
Few of them holding out hope that she was still alive.
Man.
Miraculously, they found her. And even more miraculous,
She was alive?
she was still breathing.
That is mad.
After more than 3 days of being buried under the earth in a small box, she was, of course, severely dehydrated,
Yeah.
but was otherwise unharmed. As
I don't
for
know,
Gary-
man. How do you not give up on stuff? Like, me personally, if I was, like, buried like that, and after the first 24 hours, I don't know, I would just give up hope, and my body would die
Christ's
on me.
female accomplice. She was apprehended in Norman, Oklahoma, 2.5 months later. Her
Wow,
name
that's-
was Ruth Eisman Shear. She had
Okay.
applied for a job at a hospital, and, as a part of a background check, had her fingerprints taken.
Oh, my God.
Those prints were picked up by the FBI, who matched them to another set found inside the abandoned car. Apparently, she and Gary Christ had become separated after the second money drop, and, figuring that she had been left to fend for herself, fled to Oklahoma. She was sentenced
Okay.
to 7 years in prison, served 4 of those, and was then deported back to her native Honduras.
Oh, crap.
As for Gary Christ, he was sentenced to life behind bars, but only served 10 before being paroled.
What?
After that, he was officially pardoned so that he could go to med school, and eventually, he became a doctor in Indiana. He later had his license revoked after lying about a disciplinary action that he had received during his residency. More recently, in 2006, he was arrested yet again, this time on a sailboat, trying to smuggle 14 kilos of cocaine into Alabama. I guess some folks never learn.
Jesus. I mean, they say a leopard never changes
Take a
its
look at
spots.
this image. Study it for a few seconds.
Okay.
Can you name even one object in it?
No, that's AI right
Difficult,
there.
right? How does looking at it make you feel?
Strange.
Frustrated? Uncomfortable? Creeped out?
A little bit.
Nauseated?
Wow.
Confused?
Yeah.
Does it give you a weird, localized headache?
It's AI,
I
surely.
only ask because most people have a negative reaction to it. But that's by design. You see, this picture was created to simulate the nightmarish experience of having a stroke.
Oh my god.
Particularly ones that affect the optical lobe of the cerebral cortex, the part of the brain responsible for visual perception.
Wow.
Everything
just
looks
melts.
familiar, but at the same time, unrecognizable. Like
I reckon that's maybe what dementia's like as well, and like just these brain-eating diseases. It's like you kind of recognize it within yourself, but
in a weird,
you can't
warped
put your
version of
finger on it.
reality. Those who've experienced this type of stroke and survived have said that this image accurately depicts how things appear.
That's mad.
Imagine the anxiety and confusion that would grip you if your world were to turn to this.
Yeah, I mean, the more I look at it, the more it hurts to look at. It's like, what's this, a capybara? This looks like a gift bag or something, and like this is...
Especially considering you'd probably lose the ability to call for help or tell anyone what you're experiencing.
Yeah, they say the 5 signs of a stroke, guys. The face slumps, speech, you can't talk properly, you can't raise both your arms, your tongue sometimes twists, and there's multiple
If you
others.
think that somebody is suffering from a stroke, but they physically can't tell you, remember to think
Face,
fast.
arms,
Face. Is one side
speech,
drooping? Arms. Can they lift both of
and
them up simultaneously
tongue?
and hold them out?
or talk.
Speech.
Oh, never mind.
Can they talk? Or are their words mumbled and sloppy? Time. Call an ambulance immediately. As that old PSA on UK TV used to say, the faster you act, the more of a person you'll save.
Yeah, I remember that advert. They'd be at like a football game.
Here's a bizarre story that's stranger than fiction. On Christmas Eve of 1945, a fire broke out at the Sodder family household in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Inside the house were George and Jenny Sodder and 9 of their 10 children.
Jesus.
The house itself was burned to a crisp, but both parents and 4 of their children were able to escape.
Man.
The other 5 weren't so lucky. They were Maurice, 14, Martha Lee, 12, Lewis, 10, Jenny Irene, 8,
Oh my god.
and Betty Dolly, 6.
That's mad.
From what I just told you, you may be thinking that the 5 youngsters were consumed by the flames. But that's the thing. After the fire had burned out and the ruins were searched, none of their bodies could be found. George and Jenny believed that their 5 children must have escaped the house, but then had somehow simply vanished into thin air. But if so,
What? Oh, I think I've
where
heard this
were they?
before. I think I've
most
heard
people
this.
following the story assumed that the Sodder children's remains must have been totally destroyed by the fire and turned to ash, hence why they couldn't be found. That's despite the fact that many household appliances were found burned, but still fully recognizable. Their parents held out hope, however, and continued to believe that all 5 of them had somehow gotten out of the house and were then either taken captive or murdered.
Jeez.
A far-fetched belief, you might say. But there
Very.
were a few mysterious occurrences that happened both before and after the fire that gave their suspicions some credence. On the night the fire broke out, the mother, Jenny Sodder, answered a mysterious phone call at 12:30 a.m. On the other end of the line was a woman whose voice she didn't recognize. According to Jenny, the woman had a weird laugh and she could hear clinking glasses in the background. The woman
Okay.
asked to speak with someone who didn't live at the house. Jenny told her
The woman who made this call was later identified and confirmed she really had just dialed the wrong number.
she must have the wrong number, to which the woman again laughed, quote, weirdly, before hanging up the phone. As Jenny made her way back to bed, she heard something loudly smash against the roof of their home, followed by a rolling sound. She froze for a moment, but
Molotov?
hearing nothing else, brushed it off, and went back to sleep. 30 minutes later, she and the rest of the family awoke to the smell of smoke filling their home. By that point, their staircase was already consumed by fire.
Damn.
George broke a window in the attic and climbed down the wall of the house to collect his ladder. Strangely, his ladder had been moved from where he had left it and was found at the bottom of an embankment 75 feet away, hidden from view.
This was a murder case.
He put up the ladder and helped his family escape, though terrifyingly.
So hang on, someone who knew where the ladder was moved the ladder. So one of these 5 kids, or maybe all of them, decided to do it.
The 5 missing.
Maybe is there money involved?
Children anywhere in the house. All the others could do was watch as their home burned, since the fire department was too busy to help put out the flames until morning.
Wow, what do you mean they were busy?
When firefighters did arrive to examine the ruins, they said that the cause of the fire was faulty wiring. George wasn't buying that. He had just had the house rewired before the blaze, and the electrics were in perfect working order.
Who did it though?
As such, he instead believed that someone must have started the fire and was waiting to sweep up the children as they ran out. Bones belonging to a single individual were also found inside the charred remains of the home. But weirdly, after testing them, it was confirmed that they belonged to a person older than any of the missing Sodder children.
What?
In fact, they had been dug up from a nearby cemetery and had never been exposed to the fire. It's unclear how those bones came to be found in the house, though many assume they were planted.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This guy's face is my reaction to this. What the fuck?
Sure that this was.
So someone moved the ladder from the attic, knowing that it was there, threw it away so that they couldn't escape, maybe. And then they already had a body dug up from the grave, and they threw it into the house. But for what reason?
Wasn't a mere accident, and that the flames hadn't burned hot enough to utterly destroy their children. The Sodder parents put up these signs along State Route 16 in the 1950s, appealing for information about their missing offspring.
That is mad.
In the years that followed, multiple alleged sightings of the lost children were reported, though unfortunately, they were never found, alive or dead.
What?
But who would hold such a grudge against the Sodder family to burn down their house and do who knows what to their children? Well, George himself was an Italian immigrant. He hated fascism and was an outspoken critic of Benito Mussolini. This had led to some heated arguments with...
Wait, he hated
fascism.
He hated
and was an
fascism.
outspoken critic of Benito Mussolini.
Okay.
This had led to some heated arguments with other Italian immigrants, including members of the Sicilian Mafia.
Oh shit.
Suspiciously, a life insurance salesman told George that his house would, quote, go up in smoke, and his children would be utterly destroyed for remarks he had made about Mussolini.
Case solved. There we go. It was the fucking mafia.
Around that same time, George's elder sons noticed a strange vehicle parked along the main highway in their town.
So, they were living in America, and they were saying that Mussolini was a bad guy, which he was. And the people said, oh no, you can't be saying that, and had them killed? In America.
Its occupants watching the younger Sodder children as they made their way to school.
I guess this was just after the World War II, right?
On the night of the fire, a passing bus driver also reported seeing people throwing, quote, balls of fire at the Sodder house.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like, it sounded like a Molotov.
Green rubber object that resembled a napalm pineapple bomb was later found in the family's yard.
A napalm pineapple bomb?
Who lives in a pineapple?
Could this whole incident have been revenge for George's outspokenness? If so, had the perpetrator also taken his anger out on the kids too?
That is mad, though. In 1938, following the German example, Mussolini's government passed anti-Semitic laws in Italy that discriminated against Jews in all sectors of public and private life, and prepared the way for the deportation of some 20% of Italy's Jews to German death camps. Jesus Christ! Who in the name of God is supporting this man who's like, how dare you speak ill of Mussolini? Then again, I mean, if you're willing to burn someone's house and kill children, it really doesn't surprise me.
Here's the crazy part of the story, though.
Oh my God.
In 1967, 22 years after the house fire, a now widowed Jenny Sodder went to check her mailbox. She found a letter addressed specifically to her.
Oh God.
Inside that letter was a photograph. A photograph of a man who strongly resembled her missing 10-year-old son, Louis, now an adult in his early 30s.
Why isn't
The back of the photo read, Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie. Illil boys. A90132 or 35.
What?
In response, the family hired a private investigator to go to Central City, Kentucky, the place where the picture had been mailed from. The PI went out there, but then mysteriously disappeared himself.
Oh my God.
They never heard back from him again.
Jesus Christ.
The Sodder family added this new photo to their billboards, which stayed up until Jenny's death in 1989.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Now, what can
Christmas
Teresa tells
Eve
us
as well.
that the Sodder children must have simply burned up in the fire, and that their remains were utterly destroyed, or simply not found amongst the rubble. But there are so many unusual elements to this case that suggest something more nefarious may have happened,
Yeah, I mean,
and that
you
it
don't
wasn't a
say.
mere electrical malfunction that caused the blaze. Could
That
this
is
photo
dodgy.
really be of Louis Sodder as a fully grown man? The features are extremely similar. They both have dark, curly hair, dark brown eyes, the same straight, strong nose, and the same upward tilt of the left eyebrow. But what did the cryptic message on the back of the picture mean? Who had mailed them the photo in the first place? And if Louis was really alive, why hadn't he tried to make contact with his family? Was he trying to protect them?
He was taken in by the
If
mafia,
so,
guaranteed.
from who?
He's probably being paid a lot.
We don't know the answer to any of those questions, or tens of others for that matter. And given how long ago this all happened, we likely never will.
Man.
The last of the 10 Sodder children, Sylvia Sodder, who was only 2 at the time of the fire and who made it out of the house, passed away in 2021.
Jesus.
Until her dying day, she believed that her siblings hadn't perished in the flames.
Yeah.
Many people who follow this case agree.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. That was super strange.
Hey guys, so Lazy here, and thank you very much for listening.
What the hell is this?
Sorry this video was on the shorter side, and I took a while to upload it as well. But I've been very busy recently, moving into a new house, and we just had our UK wedding ceremony, so it's been a busy few weeks.
Congratulations!
Anyway, I'll be uploading as normal from next week.
Oh, guys, go support the Patreon as well, for sure. Yeah, these, I mean, with like this kind of content, this kind of subject matter, YouTube doesn't really like it, which makes no sense because if you think about it, the History Channel on like on TV, you get like these documentaries literally about like freaking extermination camps and stuff, and there's still adverts afterwards. I don't know why YouTube. So I guess I don't know. It's a very strange platform, YouTube, at the best of times. But there we go, guys. Lazy Masquerade, absolutely fantastic creator, does some really good videos. You guys should definitely go subscribe, like the video, and if you did enjoy my reaction, why not like, subscribe to me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Who are you? Get out my